Hey guys, Adam Havoc here from the Film Pundits. I want to welcome you to our first episode of Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday is going to be a weekly series that we do where we highlight a particular incarnation of a certain character, whether it's a movie or it could be a TV show. And since it is the 75th anniversary of Batman and the 25th anniversary of Tim Burton's Batman, I figure that's the best place to start. So if you don't know, Tim Burton directed a version of Batman in 1989, and it was actually during the 50th anniversary of Batman's original release in Detective Comics 27. This movie actually came out at a perfect time because he had kind of just been re-envisioned a few years before by artists and writers like Denny O'Neil and Frank Miller with comics like The Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One. So thanks to those writers, Batman kind of went back to his darker roots where he was more the Dark Knight. He wasn't this 60s, 70s, more kind of satirical, lighthearted, campy character like he was portrayed in the 60s show. He definitely was more of that brooding, dark, tortured soul, which I think a lot of people wanted to see on the big screen. Nobody really wanted to see another incarnation of the 60s version. In terms of the cast, the movie has a pretty stellar cast. It's got Michael Keaton as Batman / Bruce Wayne, Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale, Robert Wuhl as Alexander Knox, Michael Gough as Alfred, Batman's trusted butler, and Pat Hingle as Commissioner Jim Gordon. So overall in terms of the movie, I really love this movie. This movie is definitely a piece of nostalgia, a piece of childhood. This is the movie that kind of really got me into Batman. I had seen the 60s show and I wasn't that into it as a kid. I didn't learn to appreciate it until much later. But this movie definitely got me into the character of Batman and got me to read comics like The Dark Knight Returns, like Batman Year One, and really kind of understand the vision of this character and where he comes from, his pain that he feels for the murder of his family. Batman eventually finds out that Jack Napier is the one who killed his parents. So this story goes from being sort of the story about a man who puts on a mask to save his city into more being a story about a man avenging the murder of his family. So it definitely is a really interesting theme to kind of play around in this movie. Bruce Wayne is not so much this big Hugh Hefner type of playboy guy in any sort of way. He's more introverted. He kind of is the rich guy who stays on top of the mountain in his big house with his butler and doesn't really go out and interact with society. It isn't until he meets Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger's character, where he's kind of taken back by her beauty, and Kim Basinger is very beautiful, and she does a great job kind of being the yin to Bruce Wayne's yang, whereas Joker is kind of the yang to Batman's yin. So they're very interesting dynamics in this whole thing. Robert Wuhl plays a photographer / reporter for the Gotham Globe, who also has the hots for Vicky Vale, and he's kind of fighting for the affection of this woman. But overall, it's a really good story. You get to learn a lot about Bruce Wayne and the pain that he's going through. And you also have the Joker, who's more of this satirical, funny character, which I think plays very well in this movie because the rest of the movie is so dark. You know, it's a Tim Burton movie, so it's very dark, noir, gothic type of a feeling movie. And Joker's kind of the one who breaks the tension at certain points. He can be scary as hell, or he can make you laugh. So that's what I think is the genius of Jack Nicholson. He really kind of keeps you grounded in this movie, and he kind of lets you know when it's okay to laugh, when it's okay to be scared. And overall, I mean, the performances are just so well done. And Michael Keaton, let's talk about Michael Keaton. This guy was a comedic actor for the most part prior to making this movie. And there was a lot of doubts about him playing Batman. The summer before that, he had just played Beetlejuice in another Tim Burton movie. So people kind of understood that this guy was more about physical comedy than he was about being serious. So when he was cast as Batman, there was a huge backlash out there, and this is predating the internet. So to hear so many people have kind of this fan outcry against it is something that's so common today, but back then it was so unheard of. So Warner Brothers had actually put out a trailer a year prior to kind of ease the fans and kind of show them what they were doing with this movie. And once that trailer came out, everyone was sold. So as kind of final thoughts, I think this movie plays very well. Some of the visual effects are definitely dated, but that doesn't take away from the movie, in my opinion. The music by Danny Elfman is absolutely fantastic. If you have not heard the soundtrack yet, I don't know where you've been living. I definitely think you need to give this soundtrack a listen, and if you have not watched this movie, go to Amazon, go to iTunes, go to Netflix, go to Target, I don't care where you go, get a hold of this movie and watch it. It definitely deserves to be watched and to be appreciated by fans. You know, it's the first movie of Batman. It's the first cinematic, a very high budgeted cinematic version of Batman. Does it take its liberties from the comics? Absolutely. Is it spot on? No, not in any way, or not in most cases, but a lot of other incarnations of Batman are not spot on from the comic books either. So while this movie takes liberties, I think it definitely deserves to be seen by an audience and to definitely be respected as the freshman effort of getting Batman on the big screen. So you definitely have to watch this movie in kind of the 1989 mindset. You can't really watch it comparing it to Batman Begins or Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises or any other incarnation, because most of those things had not happened yet. You have to really watch this movie from the mindset of watching it from the late 80s and appreciating it for what it is. Well, that about wraps it up for me on this first episode of Throwback Thursday. I would like to thank you so much for joining me. And please, let me know what you thought about this movie. Does it mean to you as much as it means to me? Was it a big part of your childhood? Jump down in the comment section right below the like button and let me know what you think. If you would like to follow me on social media, you can find me at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under Adam Hlavik. And please subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/thefilmpundits. That way you're the first to find out all about our new videos and new content that we're putting onto this channel. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under The Film Pundits. And, you know, come back next week and we'll talk about another superhero movie or TV show. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you later.